Do you like movies and games also? Listen, so much more they all know. Vice, Pyro, Lotus, and friends. Welcome to Corrective Consciousness.
Welcome to Corrective Consciousness, episode 158, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is
Lotus Prince.
And PyroJackFrost.
And we have another great show here that we teased on Reactive on Tuesday. So I thought it would be fun to go over some cameo appearances or guest appearances of other characters in games that they would normally not show up in.
Has Cameo been in any other games?
I'm trying to think. Maybe Viva Pinata, if anything, right?
Who's cameo in other games?
You're referring to the rare character, right?
Called Cameo, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the original, the Xbox 360 launch window title.
So I'm gonna go for maybe an equally obscure thing that's slightly less obscure as of a couple years ago. I was gonna mention the guy with the stand Judgment from JoJo Part 3 called Cameo. He's in the Capcom fighting game.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I mean, it's not a cameo. It's just another guy called Cameo.
Well, I just thought this was a cool topic because you may not realize that some of these are more obvious and will be fun jogs of the memory. But there's some fairly obscure ones out there that I wanted to mention. So I really like doing this kind of thing because even Lotus, right off the bat, came up with one off the top of his head, and I was just like, oh man, that's great.
Yeah,
so,
now with a new added funky mode. Actually, not that one, but that's just kind of funny to me.
Yeah. So, Lotus, why don't you mention that one? Oh, I'm sorry, Pyro?
No, I just wanted to say before anyone else did, because I'm the Mega 10 person. But
sure.
This is going to be an episode featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
Yeah, well, actually, no, speaking of which, I know that's become kind of like a minor meme, whatever the name is, featuring Dante from Devil May Cry,
it's and Knuckles with
and
featuring
Knuckles
Dante.
featuring Dante from Devil May
No,
Cry.
but what I thought was kind of funny, though, is that I've seen, someone had photoshopped out the background and just harnessed the new funky mode added, so you could, copy and paste it onto, any game art you want to. It's a new funky mode, sweet. No, but the cameo I had thought of was not even a video game. It was from Wayne's World, where Robert Patrick, the guy who plays the T-1000 in Terminator 2, shows up in his policeman's uniform from the beginning of the game with a picture of John Connor. Have you seen this boy? And Wayne just screams and runs away, and that's the whole scene. It's amazing.
And Robert Patrick actually runs walks towards the screen after him, instead of getting back into his fucking car.
That is a baffling cameo. Are they in what? Are they in the Terminator universe? You know what's a cool cameo? The guy from Angels from Filthy Souls showing up in Angels and Filthier Souls.
Actually, they did make a cameo appearance in Detective Pikachu. So
yeah, that is hysterical. Really, that's not even a guy cameoing. That's a video clip cameoing. It's baffling.
But both you and I are huge fans of that fake movie, and I wish there was more footage of both of those fake.
Look, I'm sorry,
movies.
Johnny.
But there should be a fan movie out there, building a whole movie around, or a whole 2 movies around those.
You was smooching with everyone.
little Mo with the gimpy leg.
What? Cliff? It's a lie.
But anyway, we should at the very least explain what from Dante with Dante from
No, let's
Devil
just
May Cry.
let's let it sit a little. No,
they all get it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So that was the Mega 10 Nocturne, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. There was an expanded version. When it came out in America, it was the expanded version, the Maniacs version. And for some reason, they added Dante to that game. I guess because he's a half demon. It makes sense.
Sure.
But it's just the weirdest tie-in, I guess you could say.
Atlas and Capcom aren't even that
That's
tight.
that too is like I don't know like where this came from, but it's just hilarious because Devil May Cry was doing really well then. Like that's when it first started. So then like the box of Shin Megami Tensei is Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne featuring Dante from Devil May Cry, and it's just like, and that probably sold it some games.
Yeah, that is a.
And he was like actually he was a pretty hard boss too. Actually, like when he comes in the game, like the part he's in, you had to fight him, and he's pretty hard.
Wasn't he also in one of the Beautiful Joes?
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that.
Or no, yeah, the PS2, I mean.
So when Beautiful Joe 1 got ported to PS2, he was added. Yeah.
I'm so curious. And you have like Apple Store and everything. Actually, you know what's a really fun cameo thing? Like there are 2 game series with running cameos. One of them we've already kind of discussed. Was like not even Disgaea, just the general Nippon Ichi games. Like Laharl always shows up as a secret character. Prie shows up a bunch of times. So like there are characters in previous games, but also the Tales of games. Like I think almost every, if not every, Tales of game has like a gladiatorial arena, and the secret fight is like a special guest cameo, and you're like, oh, who is this special fighter? And it's someone from a previous Tales of game, and like I don't know if all the games do this, but at least some of them do, where they play that game's battle theme music when you're fighting them, and it's usually like a cover of that theme, and it's super engaging. So like in Tales of, well, it's kind of funny because it's really Tales of Eternia, but in America it's known as Tales of Destiny 2, even though there really is a Tales of Destiny 2. But the cameo from that one was, I forgot his name, but the hero of Tales of Destiny 1, and you're just like, oh no, so I gotta fight this guy. It's pretty interesting.
A couple that I want to mention is in Cannon Spike was a really fun game. It was for the arcade and then in Dreamcast.
Yeah.
This was made by Sikio, which I've talked about this company quite a bit, and published by Capcom. So the main character, there are already like Capcom characters in the main roster. So there's Arthur,
Yep.
but he's like in a big mech.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And there's also Cammy is the main character. That's why it's named Cannon Spike. It's named after her, one of her moves. Yeah. And there's also a character that looks like she was based off of the character, the female player character in the Aliens vs. Predator beat 'em up.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so the guest characters in this game, they're like special characters that aren't on the normal roster, are Mega Man, just like straight up old classic Mega Man.
Well, that makes sense for what that game is.
And BB Hood from Darkstalkers.
Oh really?
Wow.
Yeah, and that actually goes along with another cameo appearance by Mega Man in I think it's actually Mega Man NT shows up in the Onimusha Blade Warriors
what?
like Smash Brothers kind of ish game. Yeah.
Oh, I should get that game. It's like $2. Oh, by the way, actually regarding I think I just lost my train of thought. I was going to go back to Cannon Spike, and I forgot in what capacity. Oh, actually, one thing was kind of funny. Oh, no, I remember what I was going to say anyway. One thing was kind of funny. This isn't quite a
Lotus
cameo.
Prince interrupts himself. Film at 11.
In Soul Calibur, I believe it was 5. It wasn't the character, but you could make a custom character featuring parts from, like, Devil Jin from Tekken.
Sure.
And so, like, I think I mentioned this before, but it was so funny playing this game within the first week it came out. I actually did a little bit of online multiplayer for once in my life, and it was super funny, like, because nobody was doing the custom character stuff in that capacity. Maybe they made a couple of custom characters, but not many people knew about the Devil Jin thing. So it's like, round 1, fight, and I immediately, like, laser eyes them, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, nobody was ready for that. One cameo I really like, again, it goes back to JoJo, but I mean an actual cameo this time, is in JoJo All-Star Battle for the PS3. One of the unlockable characters is Bao, and Bao was a character and series made by the guy who did JoJo. So like his fighting, not really his fighting style, but like as you watch his gameplay, it just comes off like he's a product of his manga or movie. Like when he attacks, you hear it doesn't even sound like him talking. It sounds like a narrator going like naming his attacks. It's just really bizarre. It's kind of great. And Bao just looks like a stand anyway.
I actually, getting back to Soul Calibur, that was like one of the main series with guest characters.
With guest,
like,
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
every
Yoshimitsu.
single one. After starting with 3, I think it was every single one. 2.
No,
Yeah.
3 is actually the only game to not have a special guest character, as far as I'm aware. Although you could get the Cosmos from Xenosaga, like armor. You could get that equipment, but it all started in Soul Calibur 1 with Yoshimitsu.
That's true.
wasn't-
Yoshimitsu was a cameo. I forgot about
I
that.
wasn't a big Tekken fan back then, so I thought Yoshimitsu was from Soul Calibur. So then I
Same.
saw him in like Tekken 3 or 4 or something. I was like, wait, what's happening?
I actually
So-
thought that there were 2 like different Yoshimitsus for a while.
Well, I mean, they are, but it's
I
clearly
thought that they
not,
were
like-
like I didn't realize that they were. I thought they were created separately, and it just happened to make
Okay.
2 characters called Yoshimitsu. I didn't realize they were both kind of the same character.
Yeah, they made him all wacky in Soul Calibur, and he's got like freaking like
He's-
wooden.
He's
hand
better.
and stuff.
He's better in Soul Calibur.
He's way sillier. And the
So-
funny thing is, as goofy as his voice is, he has the whole like kabuki actor like Soul Calibur. Like,
Every single time I play Soul Calibur, I want to kill someone by killing myself. Because,
Yes.
like, you can commit suicide, but the blade goes far enough that you can hit the person behind you. And
Yeah,
if you
it's
hit
great.
the other person, you win. If you kill the other person
Yep.
and you die, you win.
Yep. No, but like he has kind of like the over the top kabuki voice acting voice, but then starting in Soul Calibur 4, he has like Norio Wakamoto voice. So like it's all of a sudden super serious again, and he's like badass Yoshimitsu. I'm like, I'm okay with both of these.
Yeah, so I'm going to quickly go over the ones that have been in the Soul Calibur series. So Soul Calibur 2 was famous for having 3 different versions. So you really had, like, if you had all 3 systems, you really had to think hard about which version you wanted. I went with the GameCube because it came with Link from the Legend of Zelda series.
That was a big deal, yeah.
Yeah,
And he was
what-
arguably
so
the
many
best
cool-
one in that generation also.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And he's got so many cool swords to use too. It's like Link is just begging to be in a Soul Calibur game.
yeah,
He was-
his joke
he was
weapon.
begging for it.
Yeah.
His joke weapon is the
Dressed
butterfly
like that.
net.
Yeah, which is pretty great because you can actually use that to fight bosses in his real games.
But also it's of note that Link in particular is a unique Link. He is not
he's right-handed?
No. He is left-handed, but
Yes.
in the story that they gave him, he doesn't fit in with the rest of like the Links from the games. So he's a unique Link in the chronology.
I guess fair
Interesting.
enough. It's a Namco game.
Yeah. So Heihachi from Tekken.
Yep.
It was
hey,
for the PS2 version.
Do you know what his ending is like, by the way? Because
I don't
it's
know.
one of the greatest endings of like any arcade fighter. Well, because you know how the excuse for like all 3 cameo characters is like a portal opened up and now they're in this universe and they're like, what?
Yeah.
How did I get here? Heihachi's ending is it's like Sliders. He goes through a portal, ends up in some other dimension, kicks the ass of everybody there, goes into some other portal, kicks the ass of everyone in that dimension, and it just keeps happening until he finally ends up back home and he's like, oh, finally. He's like, Jesus, what a badass.
And the Xbox version had Spawn, with the Todd McFarlane character. Now that's pretty interesting because he also created another character of Necrid, I believe.
Yeah, and he's in all 3 game versions too. He's just Necrid is in Soul Calibur 2 every time.
Now, the cool thing about this is if you get the HD version, which is still playable on Xbox One, I believe.
Yeah, I got it on PS3.
Yeah, it's on PS3 and 360 as well. Heihachi and Spawn are together in that version,
Yeah,
which is pretty
yeah,
cool.
that's the way to do it. Because like I could never play as Spawn. I didn't have an Xbox, but you can do it now on PSN or Xbox Live or whatever.
No Link, unfortunately, but
Yeah,
that's
not
to be
happening, but
expected.
it's still a good deal.
Soul Calibur 3 had Cosmos, like you had
Yeah, like not actually just the costume pieces that you could kind of
come
make
on.
Cosmos. well, it's like Soul Calibur 5 had Devil Jin. Like, it did, but not
Yeah.
really.
Okay, yeah, so next is Soul Calibur Legends, and this was an interesting game. This was on the Wii, wasn't it, Lotus Prince? You played this one, didn't you?
I remember
Okay.
getting super excited for it, and it's like, you know how Skyward Sword is like you move the Wiimote around to swing your sword, and personally I find that obnoxious.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur Legends was like, what if it was that, but just kind of janky, so it's not really fun to actually play. It's more fun,
but
like, in
more
theory.
obnoxious.
Yeah.
Well, the guest character, speaking of Tales of characters, was
Yep.
Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia.
You know what made me really happy about that is that the box didn't just say that on the back, like, also featuring Lloyd Irving. Like, it was a genuine surprise.
Yeah, and
That'd be
around
great if
that-
every single game said that. Featuring so-and-so
Lloyd
from
Irving from Devil
whatever.
May Cry. Wait.
Well, what's also kind of cool is around that time, Soul Calibur Broken Destiny came out on PSP, I remember, and
yeah.
that one had Kratos from God of War
Yep.
in it.
Kratos
Did
has
it
been
feature
around. He's-
Oh, I'm done with the joke.
Yeah, featuring Kratos from Devil May Cry. Kratos was also in MK9, Mortal Kombat 9.
Mm-hmm. He's a good fit for that one, too.
Yes.
Soul Calibur 4 was famous for having Star Wars characters. It was originally split. I believe the Xbox 360 had Yoda, and the PS3 version had Darth Vader. But eventually they
You
took
could
down the
buy the other
exclusivity wall, yeah. But they also had Star Killer from
Well,
the
you know
Force
what though?
Unleashed games.
That was only I guess it's a cameo, but I kind of hesitate to call it that because that was more of like a promotional teaser. This was before Force Unleashed came out. He wasn't even called Star Killer. He was the Apprentice.
That's
more
true.
Like,
That's
it's more like
true.
Star Wars was cameoing than Star Killer himself. You're just like, who's this character in this upcoming game?
That's awesome. Now, Soul Calibur 5 had Ezio from Assassin's Creed, which was a big surprise.
That's right.
And then that was it, except for that Devil Jin reference that you made.
Yeah, Devil Jin, but not really. But yes, really, but not really. Soul Calibur 6 got pretty crazy though. They have like
It's not out
2B.
yet, by the way.
Oh, it's not out yet. But
Yeah.
they got 2B from Nier Automata.
Yeah,
Automata.
and Geralt from
Yeah,
The Witcher.
Geralt. He's just like right on the cover of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, so that these are all really pretty cool, and also Tekken 7 has a bunch of guest characters too.
Fucking Negan from The Walking Dead. Like,
Yeah.
It's so weird. I'm not even mad. It's just like, what?
and there's also Akuma.
Yeah, he's in the story mode.
Yeah, who else is in there?
The biggest hype ever, Geese.
Geese from King of Fighters.
His promotional trailer was cool as hell. Like, this town is not fit to be ruled by a Mishima, and you're like, who's talking? And you see fucking Geese come out, you're like, oh, that was the coolest reveal.
Geese is a fucking badass.
Oh man.
Yeah. I always like this kind of stuff, especially in fighting games.
You could still do Deadly Rave with him.
Deadly Rave. Oh man.
Deadly Rave. And he has Rashomon, and I believe he has that Raising Storm.
Really?
Yeah,
awesome.
Rashomon's pretty great. There's like a whole cool cinematic for that. And actually, I mentioned before, but Mortal Kombat's been really cool with cameos lately. Like Mortal Kombat 9 had Kratos and Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot.
Oh yeah.
The Mortal Kombat 10 had a bunch of horror characters. It
Yeah.
had, Jason, various iterations of Jason from Friday the 13th.
That's
it had
so cool.
Alien and Predator. It had Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is crazy. I haven't played 11 yet. I know they have cool cameos. I forgot who they are though.
I don't think it doesn't have as many. Yet at least I know it just came out, so they
Yeah.
might do the horror thing again. For all we
It
know,
would make sense.
it fits.
Yeah.
It fits that kind of world.
Predator was such a cool idea.
Yeah, and that was also kind of the genesis of like cameos in movies, actually, like a shared universe kind of thing. So Predator 2
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
had an allusion to aliens in it. Had the xenomorph skull in the trophy room, and that was a legitimate reference, because they were made by the same company,
and that was before they were in the same world.
Exactly.
Yeah, they didn't hardcore focus on it either. It's just like you might notice the Predator skull, and fans flipped out. They were like, "Oh, does this imply that the aliens were around?" And later on there was, of course, an Alien vs Predator movie, but just that tease was unreal.
Well, it started off officially in the comics. There were Aliens vs Predator Dark Horse comics for a long time before the movies ever came around.
Actually, it was also a really, really good, insanely hyped crossover promotion. And it didn't get delivered until a long time later, was one of the Friday the 13th movies. I think Jason Goes to Hell or something.
Yeah.
And you see Freddy Krueger's glove come out and pull him in. And you're like, what? That was amazing.
There's another reference before that. Mrs. Voorhees is shown to have the Necronomicon from Evil Dead as well.
Huh.
And sure enough, there is a comic, Freddy, Jason... Evil Dead, like Freddy, Jason, Ash.
Yeah. So they made good on all of those things.
That's great. I didn't even know about that one, though.
Yeah, and Word of God, or the creators, states that Jason is officially a Deadite.
Really?
No wonder you can't kill him.
He's officially a Deadite, and he's
insane.
So he is one of the bad guys from the Evil Dead.
Him.
Yeah. So that's really awesome. So yeah, I love this stuff. Jeez, this just brings me back to oh man, what if this character could beat up that character.
Not only that, but we were talking about this for a while in Reactive, and now it's just common knowledge. It's established. Everyone's used to it. But you know how all the Marvel movies have post-credit scenes?
Yeah.
Captain America's post-credit scene was, we're going to do an Avengers movie. We're bringing all these heroes in their previous movies together into one big movie. That was a really big step.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention this as well, that one of my favorite books growing up, this is such a weird, obscure thing, but it was just something I had. But it turns out that it was part of a larger sub-universe in the DC Comics. Mm-hmm. So Spawn and Batman had a crossover.
I think
I heard about that.
So it was a Spawn crossover comic book. But here's what I didn't realize. The Batman in that one specifically is the Dark Knight Returns Batman before he gets old.
Oh, the super gritty one?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
So he's actually it's really the only appearance of a middle-aged, or like the normal Batman aged version of that Batman, because whenever that Batman is depicted, he's either Frank Miller states that Batman Year One Batman is where it diverges, right? So Batman Year One is actually part of continuity, but he's also part of the Dark Knight continuity, and then it diverges from there, because he wrote Year One. So so you have the goddamn Batman, who he shall be known as from now
I can
on.
call the goddamn Batmobile if I want. He says he just says goddamn 100 times in the next issue to Trolls fans.
You have
you got a problem with the goddamn Batmobile? I'll call it whatever I goddamn want. What?
What are you, dense? But my favorite part of that entire series is when he goes up against the Green Lantern.
Yeah, you showed me that. That was hilarious. He almost kills him.
He has a whole safe house painted in yellow, and he's drinking lemonade.
That's the dumbest part. He didn't need to drink anything. He's drinking lemonade.
And he almost kills him.
No, Robin almost kills him.
But he has to save him because he's like,
Robin
no, we're not going to kill anyone.
Yeah. He almost kills him by kicking him, and they have to. He has to
stab him in the throat with a test tube or something.
Yeah. In order to get him to breathe.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Batman, there's a comic and a movie of Batman crossing over with Ninja Turtles, and it looks legitimately good. Like, I know it's kind of a meme that where Batman goes over to the alley, like, this is where my parents were killed, Raphael. And it seems kind of silly out of context, but, like, in context, it actually has meaning. Also, one thing I didn't realize is that, like, neither the comic nor the movie fucks around. Like, a lot of people may not really know this, because, like, everyone grew up with, like, if you know Ninja Turtles, you know the 80s Ninja Turtles and, like, the live-action movie, probably, and there's newer Turtle series after that keep on going. But OG Mirage Comics Ninja Turtles was quite violent. Like, and that was the joke. Something as stupid as, like, a title like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is, like, this deadly serious, like, brutal comic book. In the Batman Turtles crossover movie, they have no problem showing blood and, like, people beating the shit out of each other. Like, the foot soldiers are human. Like, a foot soldier's about to, like, you know, the mastermind behind the whole plan is, and then, like, a shuriken just hits him in the fucking head and he dies. And you're like, whoa. like they don't hold back. Like, it's no joke at all. It's kind of amazing.
That
Batman
reminds
and Shredder
me.
fighting is like a really good fight.
That reminds me. Archie has some really interesting crossovers. Archie, of all things.
Yeah.
So, well, actually, it's fun to talk about Archie now because, like one of the most popular shows on TV is Riverdale. Like, so it's I find that hilarious. We live in some goofy timeline where Archie's actually popular.
That's true.
There's actually 2 Archie TV series that are popular going on right now.
That's insane.
Riverdale and Sabrina. Yeah. But what I was gonna bring up is, like, OG Archie, you know, like Golly, you know, that kind of stuff. I actually had like a crossover with the Punisher, where, like, the Punisher's like picking off characters.
Makes no damn sense.
And also the Predator as well.
That's bananas, man. That's ridiculous.
And they're legitimate. Like, so apparently the impression is that the 2 people that own the company, who are, like, descendants of the people that originally started it, are both mad at each other and don't give a shit what happens with the license. Great. So they're just doing whatever now, and it's paid off in dividends. Like, they don't agree on anything, so they just okay whatever.
That's so fantastic.
It's just like, hey, you want to kill Archie? Go right the fuck ahead. It's legitimately awesome. Like, they have no shame.
Well, no, speaking of descendants of people who have properties, how about, it's not even really a cameo anymore, it kind of is, but, like, the Venture Brothers is in canon with Johnny Quest, and you have, like, a drugged out, like, Johnny Quest, like, formerly what he used to be. There was a really interesting episode, like, a really interesting Venture Brothers episode, where the whole premise was villains, like, because you know how all the villains in Venture Brothers are, like, getting older? They're not, like, the old guard, but they're getting older. And there's a lot of, like, let's challenge our nemesis to, like, one last definitive, not even necessarily fight, like, challenge of some kind. And a lot of the challenges ended up being awkward because, like, it became, like, a Good Omens kind of thing where they didn't legitimately hate each other anymore. It was kind of like, oh, good to see you. But, like, the Johnny Quest villain, he was really more interested in Johnny Quest's father, which would make sense because Johnny was just a little kid. But his father was no longer around, and he was like, oh, well, and he's meeting Johnny in, like, in his, like, drug therapy, like, home, like his center, and, like, the receptionist is super nice, like, oh, normally we don't allow visitors, but you came all this way, I'll go get him for you, and he's like, okay, and he's just sitting on a couch waiting for Johnny Quest to show up, and it's just this awkward conversation where it's like, remember the time where I was trying to steal, like, the golden idol or whatever? Yeah, that was fun times. Hey, would you like me to go and hide somewhere and you can? Yes, please. It was amazing. It was so good. Actually, by the way, this is one of the more baffling crossovers I've seen. I mean, not for what it is, but for how it was executed. Killer 7, and I do not mean I'm not talking about Travis Strikes Again. Like, I'm talking way weirder. You know how Killer 7 is made in part by Shinji Mikami, the Resident Evil guy?
Sure.
So in Killer 7, comics only, the fucking comic book that nobody knows exists.
Western only, by the way.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
They don't even call attention to this. It's just you might notice it. But in one of the establishing shot panels of the city, one of the trucks driving by has an Umbrella logo on it. And it's just like, what? Like, that's it. This doesn't go anywhere. It's just like, hey, get it? It's like, yes, I do get it.
Well, another one that you had mentioned before the show, another fighting game reference, was the Clay Fighter series actually has...
yeah, that was a weird one.
Earthworm Jim, right?
They have Earthworm Jim
I forgot about that. It does have Earthworm Jim.
In the original Clay Fighter 63 and a third, but the Sculptor's Cut adds Boogerman as well.
Oh yeah, and Boogerman, that's right.
Yeah. Remember Boogerman, everybody? A pick and flick adventure for the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Ugh, terrible.
That's one of those games I thought was interesting as a kid, and today as an adult, I'm like,
it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was okay.
Just what a schlub he is.
It was an average platformer.
An adult made this. Right. A full-fledged adult made this.
that is kind of funny, actually. Oh, you know what? Resident Evil has a few kind of cameos. Like in Resident Evil 3, you can find a wrecked DeLorean, and it's kind of easy to miss. It's just part of the background. But yeah, there's a wrecked DeLorean. It's just a little weird.
Hey, and Duke Nukem, you have the one doomed Space Marine.
That's one Doom Space. Also, Indiana Jones. We meet again, Dr. Jones, and like one of the versions of the game has like Lara Croft from Tomb Raider in it. It might be the same version. There's just a bunch of weird like pop culture nods like that.
Yeah, the Doom games also have Commander Keen like dead, like hanging from a rope.
Doom 2016 has, this was a weird one. Doom 26 has the skeleton of Raz from Psychonauts. Oh no! I'm sorry. Alice Madness Returns has that. Sorry, Alice Madness Returns has that.
Oh,
which
wow.
is a weird thing to do. Yeah, Alice Madness Returns has the skeleton of Raz from Psychonauts. Why? I don't know.
Wow, no, they're not even tangentially related.
Yeah, no, I think it's just like they were like a fan of the game or something. This one, it's not really a cameo. It's an Easter egg, so I'm not going to count it. But because I already said Doom 2016, what I was confusing that with was Doom 2016 has a skeleton that has an arrow in its knee, and like the whatever the hell you're called, like the Dragon Hunter helmet. So I guess it's kind of a cameo.
I have one more here. Well, Bloodstained has a few references. I've already kind of talked about this before, but a bunch of the missions are named after Castlevania characters. Specifically, you have to avenge the death of like Sylphia or Grant or Jonathan.
That's so weird.
It's so funny. All of them are there too. Ed Richter is like in there as well. Like, it's so funny.
Great.
Yeah.
You know what's a good cameo that, like, it's becoming a little more well-known, but it's not the most obvious one, is in Super Mario Sunshine, there's this one guy you have to race, El Piantissimo, but you could, like, it's clearly not his face, it's like a mask of a Pianta, and if you, like, look under him, sure enough, he's the runner from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yeah, the postman in Twilight. Twilight Princess. But
No, Ocarina of Time. Is he also in Twilight Princess? I forgot.
He's a very, very prominent in Twilight Princess.
Okay.
But I was also going to mention the fact that what was the game I just mentioned? I forget.
Oh no. Oh no. Doom, Commander Keen.
Oh yeah. Okay, so oh no. I lost it. Go on.
I hate this feeling.
Go on, and I'll get back to it.
Oh man, I gotta think of others now. So many potential cameos. Oh dear. Let's see. We already talked about Mortal Kombat. Has Street Fighter done cameos?
Oh, Bloodstained. Bloodstained is what I wanted to say. So Bloodstained has the shovel armor in it, and it is very clearly like a beefy Shovel Knight, and his crystal power is the Shovel Knight familiar. So
that's amusing.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, speaking of Shovel Knight, there's the PS4 version of the game. Has like a fight with Kratos from God of War again, and the Xbox One version has a Battletoads level.
NPC, yeah.
NPC, and even Killer Instinct. You can play as a damn Battletoad. It's freaking great.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Ninja Turtles in Injustice now as well.
Yeah, that is. I forgot about Injustice. That was a weird one. And Hellboy.
Yeah, real interesting.
And I'm so used to Ron Perlman Hellboy, I was thrown when he looked more like actual like comic book Hellboy. I was like, oh, nice.
Well, any final ones before we move on to our weekly business, guys?
No, I mean you covered a lot of them.
There's probably 100, but I'm coming up a little short.
There's exactly 100. We've only gotten 10,
we've only gotten like
so
yeah.
And I ran out of fingers to count on.
Yeah, now I don't know what to do.
All right, well, Lotus, take it away on our weeklies here.
Why, sure. We only had one fan comment, but it was from Living Corpse. This is going back to our discussion of like the analog NT and the Super NT and the Mega SG. But he said, I wish the Turbo Duo had a clone system. So you're talking about the Turbo Graphics. He said, I wish the Turbo Duo had a clone system that played games in 1080p like the analog games. But I also know it would be expensive. Yeah, sure enough, but that would be super cool, though. That really would. For the fan question, I think this one is pretty straightforward. Insane Buffoon asks, what's your favorite pizza topping?
There's no question. Like, that the only good... No. I'm a sausage and mushroom person myself.
Yeah, that is actually my favorite combo of toppings as well.
I usually, I honestly, I know this is like on brand for me, but I usually prefer plain
pizza.
But if I do,
he likes his pizza on the side of the pizza.
Yeah, can you give me the cheese and the sauce on the side and the bread? But if I go for toppings, I tend to like I can't say what my favorite is, like sausage or meatball or pepperoni. Like they're fine. I usually would get like one topping. It's fine.
9mm bullets,
or Supreme is good
on a pizza.
If you ask for something crazy like pineapple, I'll kill you.
And that one guy, whoever it is just laughing in the background the whole time. That like really makes the video. I need your number, your social security number, your serial number.
No, your name, your number, your serial number, how tall you are, whether you're susceptible to any diseases. Or maybe I'll make you a pizza, or maybe I'll break up your arm.
Like, what? And the funny thing is, back when I first heard that, I was like, this is a hilarious Arnold impression. Today, it's like, it really doesn't... Like, I mean, you could tell it's an Arnold impression, but it doesn't sound like how Arnold sounds.
No, but it's just what he says that's funny.
No, I know, but, like, this was back in the era where, like, we all thought Arnold was like, rah, and, like, he's really not.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, this is, like, an OG, like,
pre-YouTube
internet, comedy thing that was, like, basically on, like, Albino Black Sheep and shit like that back in the day. Yeah. It was Arnold's Pizza Shop. It's on YouTube. Definitely watch it. It's still really it holds up.
How do you come up with this?
It's really funny.
Some people have a lot of time on their hands.
I guess like let's do a voicemail for Arnold's for like if he ran a pizza shop, and let's make it weird.
I think it might have been one of those Jerky Boys things from back in the day. Yeah.
That's so weird. Like it's like some Saturday Night Live sketches. A lot of them are like, corresponding to current events. Or, like, they have a celebrity cameo of, like, you've seen the celebrity in this thing, here he is on SNL. But then there are some sketches that are just fucking weird.
Yeah.
And, like, those are some of my favorite, because you're like, how do you come up with this? Like the really old one, like, making fun of those 1950s movies, like The Thing from the Basement or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen The Thing That Wouldn't Leave?
No.
It's really funny, because they do it with the slime font, like, The Thing That Wouldn't Leave. And, like... It's just John Belushi being a house guest that overstays his welcome. And he's just like, hey, we got, like, it's clearly time to leave. He's clearly the only guest left. And it's like, are there any good movies on? Oh, this is pretty fun. Like, I'll call some friends. I'll have them come over. And the woman's just doing that overly exaggerated 1950s scream like that. Ah! It was really,
like,
it was
grabbing
really
her face.
Funny.
That's great.
Like schlock horror. It was so funny. It's amazing.
I will also give an honorable mention to Buffalo Chicken, because I do like Buffalo Chicken pizza.
I was going to say that
quite good. It is.
My second, like, this is interesting because it's not like there's if I had like one favorite topping, it would be sausage. But like,
yeah,
when I get pizzas,
sausage
it's usually a combo. And I would say, other than sausage and mushroom, my next favorite is Supreme.
Oh yeah,
okay.
I like Supreme too.
Yeah.
I do like buffalo chicken and barbecue chicken as well. I'm not very good with spice. I can't take like a giant bite at a buffalo chicken. I know that's not spicy, but like it's a little hot for me, but I do love the taste.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. Out of all the things that like, we would eat with you, pizza's like one of those things where you're actually like in line with everybody else.
Well, yeah, that's kind
so
of like,
weird.
Like I'm still a picky eater, but I am weirdly like more liberal with pizza toppings than I am with like a lot of foods.
Yeah.
Like this plain, that plain, but pizza, buffalo chicken, sure. It's like I know that's not an exotic topping, but for me it kind of is.
It's also like one of the very few things that you will eat like melted cheese on.
That's a good point. Like, yeah, I'm not a dairy person. Like my mom, like that comes from my mom. Like we're not dairy people, but like I will never order it. But if someone messes up my sandwich and there's provolone in it, like I'll take
Someone's
it.
gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I mean, all right, fine, I'll take it. I wouldn't have asked for this, but whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And my mom probably would just say no to that.
I told you to leave the prov alone.
Hey, take it Provol off.
Ooh. Ooh.
I'll prove to you that I like it plain. I don't
Okay. Clearly, the date on printed on the side of this podcast has expired.
My jokes are getting pretty stale.
Ooh.
Hey,
Ooh.
that was actually a clever one.
Rancid. Anyway, any final words on pizza?
No, I think we've about sliced it. That's bad.
Yeah, it's getting a little crusty there.
I actually would like it if my pizza came with little slices of pizza on it. I'm just saying.
Pizza with pizza.
You ever hear that one joke? Like, would you like your pizza cut into 8 slices or 6? Better make it 6. I'm not that hungry.
All right. Well, that is the show for this week, folks. We want to thank our fans who contributed questions. We only have one more left, so be sure to throw some more into the comments here. We love doing these, especially the non-gaming related ones. This is like a time where we can actually like share ourselves a little bit. So
yeah,
I like this kind of
information
thing.
For me, I like plenty
Same.
No, well, this one was actually kind of interesting in that regard. Is like
Yeah,
you
slightly
aren't
deviated.
picky as hell with pizza.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, the only thing I've eaten on pizza is like other foods that I would eat by themselves. It's not like I don't eat pineapple, but I will eat it on pizza. It's like I eat buffalo chicken, I eat pizza. I could have buffalo chicken on pizza.
I'll eat ribs on pizza.
I don't
teeth
even
are
know how that
broken.
would work.
It would be interesting if like the crust were the bone.
Oh shit.
So anyway, keep us supplied with awesome topics by submitting questions of your own via the YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Tuesdays for another episode of our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the in-depth look at this week in our lives. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on PSN, Xbox Live, Twitter, Battle.net, and all that jib jab.
Jibby jab.
You can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. Blip blip blip. I hiccuped. I've ruined the take. It's over.
All right, let's start from the top.
Fuck it.
I knew
Now,
you
you
were
can
on the
follow
take.
me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting involved in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
And you can find me as PyroJackFrost or Cloud8540 on Battle.net, Steam, and PSN.
All right, guys, we will catch you on Tuesday.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye.